Hello, hello. Welcome to the live. I'm looking for my guests. This technology is something else. Okay. Hello, hello. It's saying to flip. But Janice, I don't see you. Oh, there we go. I see two. No. I'm using a different streaming software. Everybody. Oh, 10 people. Okay. But I am looking for my guest. I don't see her yet. So, are you guys seeing me? Let me know, somebody, if you're seeing me. 16 people on. Where is Janice? Janice, where are you? Interesting. All right, guys, let me know if you can hear me, because I don't see my guest on screen. We were going to talk about the Dominican Republic, how to expatriate there, and of course, compare that with Panama and the DR. But I don't see my guest. I sent them the link. Please bear with me. All righty. Janice. And Marcia. Where is Marcia? Marcia is my guest from the DR. Oh, that's embarrassing. Where are they? 14 people on. I'm sure it's something I'm not doing. I sent them the link again this morning. Okay. Yep, it's the same link. I've sent it to them twice. Okay, let's see. Janice. Yep, I still don't see Janice. Okay. I wonder if this is going to be one of those lives where I invite up to copy the link. I did that. I invited them, but I don't see them. They're not asking to enter the studio. Okay. 23 folks. Oh my goodness. This is not good. Okay. Oh, why is it private? Oh, okay. No, that's a private chat. Okay. All right, guys, I have to apologize. I don't know what's happening to my guests. I put myself live on YouTube again, but when you're doing a live, you're supposed to use a streaming company, and I usually record on Zoom, but you record to upload, right? And then you when you are doing a live and you have guests, then you have to kind of share. So I am on YouTube now. I am watching you guys. So hello. I see one. So if you guys can go to um, Single Women Retiring Abroad, to that page, that channel, then I will do the live, I guess, on my own. I don't see my guests. Oh my goodness. This is bad. Okay. 25 folks. Can somebody tell me if you guys can see me? I was going to open the chat. Oh, you can see and hear me. Thank you so much. But I don't see my guests. I sent them the link twice. So if that's the case, we are going to do the live and talk about Panama, which is what I know. I don't know how to get to, there were a lot of messages on the other link. Okay, no, I'm looking at the link here. They say they can hear me, they can see me. But okay, great. All right, so you guys got my attention because I don't see my guests. So this is a time for you to ask me questions about Panama. But what I want to do, I want to do a short intro. Maybe my guests will show up at some point because we had the time situated from the Dominican Republic. That lady is still in the States. I'm in the States and Janice is in France. And there is like a 5-6 hour difference between us and France. So it should be in the evening for her, which is not going to be Madiwa. Yeah, going to be a problem. Okay, I keep looking to see if they pop up here. But the purpose of these lives, this premier roundtable, is the brainchild of Marcia, who is in the process. She is a physician, and she's in the process of moving to the Dominican Republic. And so she thought it would be interesting for people to know about the process because you don't really hear about the DR as a place to retire. But most people, I know a lot of younger people who have gone to the DR. I'm curious, right? And France, again, I see and read about some younger folks going there, but not necessarily older folks like myself. I'm 66. Now, Janice, my guess that I can't see, moved to France when she was 70. So you know what I'm going to do after this live? I'm going to interview the two ladies and then I'll upload the video. Listen, when life throws you lemon, you make lemonade, correct? So thank you so much for your patience. Okay. So she thought she connected with me after I did my video on the dark side of being an expat, just talking about the challenges and the things that we experience as expats, from family and friends, and then to coming over and then transitioning, right? So she's like, wow, that should be a good way to, send information to people out there in the world, and that way we can create an online community of older single women, which is a great idea. Because as you know, my channel is Single Women Retiring Abroad. We help older women. I mean, I don't charge or anything, but just to give them information about what they need to do, the process, right? And I have like lots of videos about, first of all, determining if you are a good candidate for living abroad, because it's not for everybody, right? And then knowing that a lot of people have done it, it gives you, a sense that I'm not going to be the first one, and I can ask questions. I get loads of questions. People ask for referral about, the attorney and how to get an apartment, how to, get a short-term rental, and I'm happy to do that. But a lot of time, people want to know why Panama? Why Panama? Why did you choose the country that you've chosen, right? And it's from a process of elimination. And in one of my videos, I said that one of the things that could determine where you land could be you have a history with the place. Let's say when you were out of college, you took a gap year and you traveled and you connected with a country. And I've heard that from several people about friends. They're like, yeah, we traveled Europe for a semester and I loved it. And I said, one day I will come back. So that's one reason, right? Another reason could be that you have family connections, right? Let's say you were born in the Caribbean and you're thinking of going back to Jamaica or one of the Caribbean island. Some people have family in like Spain and Sicily. Um, so that could be another reason, family connection. And like and for people like me, I stumble upon Panama. So if you've ever wanted to know why Panama, and I get that question all the time, and I have to always say I have done a video about why I chose Panama. In 2019, I've always loved to travel. And I said, my list is still long of places I need to visit. And I said, you know what? Instead of going back to Europe and Africa and all those places, let me just try the Caribbean and the Central and South America. And I said, oh, and the Panama Canal is close enough. I live in Florida. So very good. Very good. Now, listen, let me finish this and then I'll answer your questions, okay? Because if I'm looking at the screen, at the chat, then I'm going to lose my train of thought. And I think some of the things I'm going to say are going to answer some of your questions, right? So today you got my full attention. Oh my God, I feel so bad. I don't see my guests anywhere. Um, so I said, oh, I need to go to the Panama Canal because the Panama Canal is close enough. Let me go on a vacation. So I vacationed, and I have to tell you, one of the tours that I took was probably Monkey Island. Those of you who've been to Panama, you've been to Monkey Island, most of you, because it's a very popular tour. And my guide was a 20-something young lady who has family ties to Panama. She was born in Panama because her parents worked for the canal, 1960s or whatever. And then they moved to the US, which happens to a lot of people. And then she went, she was raised there, went to school there. And then she was like 24. She said after a while, after college, she's like, I'm going back to Panama. I don't like the cold. I don't like this, not like that. I'm going back home. So she came and was, managing her own tour company. And she was so excited. She was surfing. She was tan and she was so, in love with Panama. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Young people. I wasn't thinking of retiring in Panama. I was just enjoying the trip. And then after the tour, and of course, I remember sitting in that boat on the river, looking at the foliage. The monkeys were in the trees, and I was like, wow, I really like how I feel. I love the feeling. And this is why, if you watch my channel, you're going to hear me say the spiritual connection. To me, that's important. I don't know if it's important to you, that if I go to a place and I'm thinking of retiring, I need to feel comfortable there. I need to feel like people, I relate positively to people or people treat me positively. And so I was like, this is nice. And it's like, okay, this is a place I'd like to visit again, which is what was on my mind, that, oh, I like it enough. There's no way I will see everything that I want to see. I need to come for another visit, which I did, right? So that was the impetus, the connection. Oh, the other thing that happened too was that after the tour, she took us someplace, to eat. And when we got there, they had fried fish. Hey, I'm Caribbean, you put a snapper in front of me and I'm good. So I love that. They had patacones, plantains. Me and plantains, we're like buddies. So I was like, wow, this is nice. Then at the end, I ordered a smoothie, and I watched this man cut up the pineapple, put it in there, put, the papaya. And I was like, what? He's using fresh fruit. He did not do it, it wasn't from a bag, it wasn't frozen. I was sold. I was sold. So let me see if my other, my Janice did not send me an email. I feel so bad. But those are the two things that helped me connect to Panama: the nature, the food, and how I felt. I felt at peace. So when it was time for me to retire, of course, I said, okay, let me go back and see if I still feel the same about the place. And I did. So if you've ever wondered why Panama, and I think it's a good barometer for you if you're thinking of a place that you feel that connection, you see the people, you see the food, because you never know what you're gonna connect with, right? Okay. So the purpose of doing this roundtable, which is what my original thought was to give you, the audience, an idea of what the process is for that particular country. So I can tell you, for me, about Panama. Hello, D-Rob. I can tell you, for me, once I decided, okay, I had been 3 times. Okay. So when they say do a scouting trip, I didn't know it was a scouting trip. I just knew I was going to check the place out and get as much information as possible. And if you ask me, did you do a relocation tour? No, I did not even know about relocation tours. I'm a curious person by nature, and I like to do research on my own. So I like to get the information. So, through the course of 3 trips, think about, lodging and airfare. So I spent my money. So I was like, I'm not going to do, I can get the information that I want, that I need. And that's what I did. And of course, I did join the Facebook groups, and I connected with people on the ground. And every time I came, I either went to lunch with someone, and they're picking their brains. What about this? What about that? Because this is the best way for you to find out what it's really like. It's by talking to somebody who has done what you are thinking of doing. Thank you, Bert. So once I made my decision, it was like, I'm going to investigate visa options, because I already know about the climate, right? I know it's tropical. I'm fine with that. I know I love the food. I already knew that they spoke Spanish. So these were already things that I already knew about. So then the visa options, I researched the visa option and found out through my contacts that I had made on the ground that yes, the pensionado visa would be the visa that I would qualify for, because if I retire, I have Social Security, or you have pension, or you have any other regular income that you can show proof that you're going to get those, even though now we're not sure. Somebody asked me, what happens if you lose your Social Security? I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to ask the attorney. Let's hope we don't get there. But I knew that if I had my Social Security and other steady income, I would qualify. Panama only asks for $1,000 a month to show proof of income. That does not mean you only need $1,000 a month to live here. I was watching a video the other day, and this guy, um, he said that, oh, Panama is a great place to retire. You can live very comfortably at $1,500 a month. And I was like, where'd you get that? In the city. You probably could do it in the interior, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. So when you want to know the truth, go on those Facebook groups and ask the question. That's why I tell people all the time, because we are here. We're going to tell you the truth. And people are very, very generous in answering your questions. Okay. So don't listen to somebody who doesn't live here or in the country you're looking at and is writing, a book about how. There's no credibility. Okay, so don't be taken by that. So the pensionado visa, and then paperwork. You have to provide FBI background. Yeah, they don't want if you have a record or something like that to come into their country. They're protecting their country. So, and then people will refer you to their attorney that they use. Now there are a lot of attorneys doing immigration, because I understand that in Panama it's not that you specialize in this, you specialize in that. Attorneys kind of do a little bit of everything. Okay, so don't say I'm looking for an immigration attorney. Pretty much any attorney will do it because the process is the same. And yes, someone asked, why do I need an attorney to get my residency? Because that's the law of the land. You cannot take your paperwork and march into immigration and say, I'm here to get a visa. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. It says new. What is that? New. Somebody trying to come on. Nope. Okay. So that's what happened. And then, of course, where's the chat? Of course, you keep talking to people, you get connected, and when you want to know, where do I stay? What hotel do you recommend? I get those questions all the time. And like I said, we are very generous about telling you where to stay. The process to get your visa in Panama is very simple. You can do a virtual consult with the attorney via Zoom or whatever they use. They talk to you, FaceTime, and they tell you about their services. Then they send you a form for you to sign electronically, meaning that you're hiring them. They send you a list of all the documents that they need. Now, some people come here on a visit and they can talk to the attorney. The attorney gives them the information. Then they go home. They gather all their paperwork and then they send it in. And when you send your information, make sure it's FedEx or DHL. There is no postal service here. Don't. I did that. I use USPS because when you do that, the attorney or their staff, they physically have to go to the post office to retrieve it if they can get it. So if you don't want to run into trouble, just use, it's going to cost you a little bit, but hey. And somebody also would say, why do I have to pay $1,500 for them to help me with that? Well, that is their fee, nothing to do with us. And remember, supply and demand, because so many of us are coming here now. Some of the attorneys are like, oh, this is good business, let's up the price. Excuse me. So there is really no standard. When I did it 2 years ago, it was like around 1,500. Now, some lawyers are charging more. So again, ask the question, what is the average? What is the ballpark? And somebody will tell you, right? Now, the process to get your visa here in Panama is very different from other places. You get a temporary, and then 4 to 6 months later, you get the permanent, right? So if you came for a visit, you talk to the attorney, they give you your list, or even if you're at home and then you have your list, you gather your paperwork, you come in to get your temporary. The attorney is going to send you an email, a message saying, we have an appointment for you at at immigration. You come in today, your appointment's tomorrow, you walk out with your temporary card in your hand, which means the next time you come through the what do I call it? The resident line, because you're no longer a tourist. Perks, right? And then you may go home after you get temporary, or you may say, I'm staying here. You could stay. If you say, I've taken care of everything, I'm ready, you can stay. And 4 to 6 months later, you get another email that says, we have an appointment for you to get your permanent. And then the attorney doesn't go with you himself or herself, but they're one of their employees, and they're very good at that, because when you get into that immigration office, trust me, it looks like mayhem. So they know the drill, and the people inside immigration know these people. So They take your number, they take your picture, they take another picture, and then you walk out with your permanent residency. It is super, super easy. Now, how long is it going to be that easy? We don't know. We had a new president last year. We haven't heard of anything being changed, but with all the pressure that things happening around, you don't know. So if you have your list of paperwork, hola Kenya. Oh my God, I want to talk to somebody from Kenya so bad. So it's very easy. Is it going to be that easy forever? We don't know. But they do have other types of visas. If you don't have the you're not retired yet, they have the Friendly Nations visa. What you need to do, book a call with an attorney and they will walk you through the differences. And I know Giovanna Bernal, Bernal, she has a YouTube channel and she has a lot of videos about the process and the different visas. So you owe it to yourself. That's part of your due diligence to learn the different types of visas. And yes, you need an attorney. So when you come here to Panama, a lot of people are like, well, I want to know how I can rent an apartment for 2 months, or it doesn't work like that. You need to book an Airbnb or a hotel, right? And we also have some long stay hotels that are very popular with expats, but it's not cheap. So moving abroad is going to cost you. Okay. So in addition to having your monthly income that is not $1,000, I think if you, and then again, it depends on where in Panama you want to stay. If you want to stay in the city, of course, like any city, it's going to cost you more. People are always asking me, how much is your rent? Which I find is really odd that somebody I don't know asking me. That's personal information. So I'm always giving them a range. The same issue, not issue, but location, that still applies. If you want to be oceanfront and you want to be smack in the middle of everything, it's going to cost you a little bit more. What kind of amenities do you want? Most of the buildings have 24-hour security, right? And as an older person, that's important to me, right? I want to be safe. And then you may find a cheaper apartment somewhere. A lot of time, if it's cheap, it's unfurnished. So you're going to have to pay to furnish it. And then when you leave, what do you do with your furniture? A lot of us are we downsize and we're trying to keep our life simpler. Like me, I came with 3 suitcases. And then I realized I didn't need all the stuff I brought. I could have been okay with one carry-on and one suitcase. Trust me, you don't need a lot of stuff. People ship their kitchen stuff and all kind of stuff and pictures, and you do you, but know that all of that is going to increase the cost of your moving. Okay. So, and then to find an apartment, again, people will tell you you can just walk into a building and ask if they have vacancies. Yes, you can do that, right? But I always say it's a lot easier to just work with a real estate person, because you don't have to pay them, and then you could just sit down with them and say, this is what I need, the amenities, this is my budget, I need so many bedrooms, so many bathrooms, do what you can. And they have access to a lot more inventory than what you might find on Encuentra 24, okay, Encuentra 24. I got my second apartment. I did. What is that? Um, so oh my goodness. Okay. Um, so if you want to find an apartment that meets your standard, I think it's the easiest way to do it, right? Hola, Michelle. Um, but if you want to do the legwork, do it. We do have seasonal prices here in Panama. Remember, Panama has two seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. Rainy seasons, I think someone says it's like, okay, I hope I don't get them mixed up. I think it's like December to like May, and then the other ones, it's dry. But nothing is just clear cut, right? Because we still have rain during the rainy season. When I first came here, it didn't rain for 4 solid months. I was like, ooh, we need a little shower every so often. But Latricia, good morning from Texas. I understand it's getting cold over there. But anyway, so your location depends on your budget. Okay. So if you go into the interior, like Bukete, David, things are a lot cheaper in terms of rent, not necessarily food. And food is not that cheap. Now, I came home to Orlando. Let me tell you, the price of food is really high. So, all right, what else can I tell you before I take your questions? Weather, it's hot, hot, hot in the city. I'm here in Orlando and I'm so enjoying this cool weather, 50s, 60s in the morning. This is lovely. This is what I remember about Florida in the winter. But Panama, a lot of people choose Panama because it's politically stable. Relatively, the weather is warm. We don't get hit um, with hurricanes, but we do feel some tremors from earthquakes in Colombia and Costa Rica because we're between those two countries. One day, when was that? 2 years ago, I was sitting at my table and then I saw the table do this. And I was like, uh oh. And I was like on the 12th floor. It's like if anything happens, it happens, right? Ooh, 30. Oh, Latricia. Ooh, that's a little bit cold for me. And but we haven't had anything major. They say the last major earthquake was like 1920 something. It was a long time ago. But they do predict some kind of seismic thing happening in the Pacific. And we are between, water. So, but you can't live your life in fear, right? Okay. Okay. So the food is pretty good, but it's not that cheap. You do have lots of fruits and vegetables available to you. We have neighborhood little fruterias, we call them. Lots of fruits and vegetables in your neighborhood. Just find out where it is, and you can walk to it. We have multiple food stores. A lot of them do deliver. So you can there's an app, you can order your food online and they deliver it. They deliver almost anything to your building in Panama. We have a lot of runners, delivery people, and they will deliver anything. Like if you buy something, they'll deliver it to you. Let's see. Lots of restaurants in the city. Again, I think when you come on a scouting trip, the best thing you want to do is to investigate different neighborhoods, right? Just take the double-decker buses and then talk to in the Facebook group, say what areas do you recommend, because we will tell you where most expats stay. That's what I was so excited. I still don't see any of my guests. Oh my God. Mea culpa. So, any questions? So I'm looking here on both screen, on the Restream and YouTube. If you have your question, you ask me and I'll answer. Do many people have gardens, and what fruit and vegetable do they grow successfully? I don't know that in the city we have garden. You can have like, imagine living in New York City and you can have one of these little things you can put on your balcony. I guess you could. But in the interior, like Boquete, David, Dolega, all these other places outside the city, people can have gardens. You can grow anything you want: peppers, corn, um, zucchinis, eggplant. I guess you could. All this thing is very abundant here. So if you love to have a garden, then you're not going to be in the city. right? 70 next week. Wonderful, Latricia. Is it still politically stable? Yes. So far, so good. Yes. He's a very nice, decent man. Hmm. I'm in California. Earthquake is kind of like one. I know. You guys are so blasé about the whole thing. Let's see. Oh, it says 2. What is that? +2. Oh my goodness. Who is this? Is that you, Marcia?
I did not take time difference into consideration.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
One of my
yeah.
guests just showed up.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
you have a time difference.
Yes. I was sitting around all
Ooh.
morning waiting. It's like, hey, wait a minute. I see Maggie online. I'm like, okay, I should be online.
I did say EST, Eastern Standard Time. Oh my
Sorry.
goodness. Marcia just showed up, you guys. She got confused with the time difference. That happens.
My apologies,
That's
everyone.
okay. But you know what? I was gonna wing it. I don't see my other guests, but I
Okay.
was doing my part for
Okay.
Panama. So when I'm finished, I'll let you do it and then they can ask questions. That's
All right.
wonderful.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. Is it still yes, stable?
God.
So yeah. So earthquakes, people from California are like, and I'm like, I'm from Florida. We have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. Sort of like Uber Eats. Oh my God. We have Uber Eats. There's a company called Pedidos. Yeah. That means ask us to bring you something and they deliver food everywhere. They on the little moped. So again, they deliver anything. You know, you buy a vacuum cleaner, they'll pick it up for you. Of course, they're gonna charge you. And Uber is super affordable. Let me tell you. Last time I came to Orlando, I took Uber home. It was like 80 some dollars. And I was like, and that was 2 years ago. I was like, whoo, gosh, I should have gotten a car. So move it to today, like last week, now I got a rental, but last week I wanted to order Lyft because Lyft is usually a little cheaper. I was going to the rental car counter. It was 3 miles away. It was like $24. I'm like, whoo, I need to get back home. I need to get back to Panama. This is terrible. All right. Any other questions, you guys, before I pass on to Marcia from the Dominican Republic? So she's going to tell you everything you need to know about the process of relocating to the Dominican Republic. Because remember, the goal of these roundtables is to expose you to the process of emigrating to different places. I just told you my story about Panama and how easy it is, but every country has their particular process that you have to know and follow, right? All right, guys. Can you see Marcia? Can somebody tell me if you can see Marcia on the screen? I'm looking at YouTube Live. Can you tell me if you see Marcia, this beautiful lady with the beautiful hair?
Thank you, Maggie.
Ah!
I'm representing my country today. I have on my
Oh, you don't see her, Michelle?
jersey.
Okay. She says she doesn't see you.
They can't see me?
Nope. So we have to make sure.
Okay.
Nope, nope, nope. Hmm. It said it's streaming.
Streaming. Okay.
How about now? All right, guys. I did something with the stream. Tell me if you can see. No. You are streaming, girl. Hello from I can see and hear you,
Okay.
but they don't see Michelle. I mean, Marcia.
Mhm.
I can see her and hear her. Good.
Everyone can see and hear you. That's what it says. Can you see me? Can they see me now? Yes, they see me. All right. All right. So, hello, everyone. I apologize with the time difference. And I was sitting around all morning waiting for 11 o'clock, but that's California time. So, yeah, here I am. My name's Marcia. I am currently in Los Angeles, but my home is in the Dominican Republic. I am an about to retire physician. I'll be retiring in September of this year, and I'm quite excited about that. Very, very excited to get on with my life away from the workplace and do some fun things. Let's see, what about me? I am the founder and the owner of a guest home that's in the Dominican Republic. Um, uh, Casa Las Damas is the name of my guest home, named based on a historical street in Santo Domingo, which is the capital of the Dominican Republic. There's a street in the colonial zone that's called Calle Las Damas. And back in the 16th century, the high society women used to walk those streets, and therefore the name Calle Las Damas. And so Casa Las Damas is named in memorial of that street for the women. So today, I guess what I would like to share is my experiences that I've had so far with the whole process of preparing for expatriation. And one thing I have to say is what's important, I think, is when you're moving to, I think, any country that speaks another language.
What else we need to do?
Am I on?
Some of them still can't see you.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Why can some see me and some not? What can I do differently here?
Well, the thing is, you're on the restream, which is fine, but it's supposed to be connecting to the live on YouTube. View on YouTube. It said it's streaming. Mm-hmm. Okay, Marcia.
Yes.
I'm going to send you the link again, okay?
Okay.
And use that. All right. Because I sent it a couple of times. Link to your email. All right. Just use this link again and log back in. All right. I sent the link again. But anyway, she is a retired physician and she's in the process of relocating to the DR. And she's going to retire, I think, at the end of this year. And she was going to walk us through the process of. So I hear myself here, so I know that it's streaming. Come on, Marcia. But anyway, in the meantime, you guys, just you have any question? She's not a ghost, Karen. It's technology. Okay, I hear a noise. You have any question about Panama? I'm here to answer your questions. I know it's the Marcia we can't hear. But do you have question for me about Panama? Is there a safe place outside of the city where you can get a nice tour? Oh yeah, plenty. If you like the beach, you can have the beach. Um, if you like the mountains, you can get the mountains. Um, Lots of homes. We are in apartments in the city, but the other day I toured a nice home with like three different, three bedrooms, and they all have en suites, and it could be like a congregate type of living arrangement. So you can definitely find a nice home. And remember, it's your budget. If you're looking for something that is oceanfront, and it probably gonna cost you. Residence visa process. And that's what I talked about earlier. They have different visas, but because this is a program for older women, we get the pensionado visa. You need $1,000 in regular income to show, like your social security statement or your retirement pension statement. You get that from the employer or whoever manages that, right? If you marry, you just add 250 to that amount. So both of you can get your pensionado visa, which is a retirement visa for older people. Okay, $1,000 for single, 1,250 for a couple, and that's all you need. The whole process will take you about 6 months, right? But once you talk to the attorney, you do the Zoom consult, and then you get your paperwork. You start timing from the time you send your paperwork out, not when they tell you, because otherwise it's gonna take you longer, right? And it depends also on how quick you are to provide the information. Some people have trouble getting their forms authenticated, or because you have to go to the Panamanian embassy in your city for them to look at your paperwork and put their seal of approval on it. Okay? You're here backstage. Okay. She says she's backstage. Mm, there she is.
Oh, hi there.
All right, I see you. Can you guys see Marcia now? Which attorney? Well, if you contact me later on, I will give you a couple of names. We're not making recommendations, we're just giving you information. Can you guys see Marcia on the screen?
Yes, I'm seeing lots of yeses.
Yes? Oh, good.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Can you hear me, Maggie?
I can hear you,
Okay.
but the YouTube folks can't see you. I don't know why. But go ahead.
All right. Did you want me to introduce myself and talk a little bit about the
Yeah,
Dominican
go
Republic?
ahead. Yeah, do that.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. In case this is a repeat, my name's Marcia. I'm in California right now, but my home is in the Dominican Republic. That's going to be my retirement home. I am an about to be retired physician, working still here in California with 6 months left to go.
Ooh.
I can hardly wait for this change and this different direction that I'm going in. Um, I hail from Indiana, South Bend, small Catholic city, but education takes you everywhere. So I've lived almost everywhere in the US and abroad. I've lived in Tanzania, which is why my name is Mshewa. Um, Let me see. Why did I choose the Dominican Republic? Let me see how I want to go there. I guess I liken that experience and that decision to house hunting, apartment hunting, condo hunting. We've all done that, right? We've gone looking at apartments we're renting.
Yes.
We've gone looking for condos to buy or rent, and homes definitely to buy or rent. And so they all have the same thing. They all have the living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. So that's not the issue. It's that house or condo or apartment that you walk into that speaks to you. That's the one you choose. So when I was
Yes.
scouting around, I was trying to make myself like Mexico, actually. Panama was on my list. Because Mexico is so close, me being in California, it already has a huge expat community. The exchange rate is pretty good with the peso. But I just didn't get that feeling. And when I went to the Dominican Republic, the first time I went was, I think, beginning of 2023. I went to Punta Cana. So Dominican Republic is, it's basically a large island, even though it's small compared to some of the other countries that are there.
Right.
I would always go to Punta Cana because everybody says, "Oh, you should come to Punta Cana." And Punta Cana is well developed. You got your gated, guarded golf course communities and resorts and things of that nature. So I was hanging out there, and I just wasn't feeling it. And so then I went to Casa de Campo. Casa de Campo is like an upgrade from Punta Cana. Casa de Campo would be similar to like the Hamptons of the Dominican Republic. You got
Ooh.
mega yachts and you got all this stuff, right? So they have these big, huge 5 and 6 bedroom villas because most people buy those properties for Airbnb and for investment properties for the most part. And I thought, no, you've already done this, Marcia. You've done this a lot of times. You've purchased so many times in this gated, guarded golf course community, and you already know you don't like that. You already know that makes you feel so much more lonely. You're out there by yourself, and everyone's a couple or family. So I thought, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. But then I had a car, so I was driving around, and I drove all around, the island. And I went into Santo Domingo, and the traffic is really, really hectic. And so I said, oh, wow, I can't deal with this traffic right now. I'm in a rental. I don't want anything to happen. So I drove back to Punta Cana, and I took a bus tour. This is what happened. I took a bus tour. It's a 1-day bus tour from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo. And they kind of show you around and kind of let you get your feet wet, the way I saw it. And I took that bus tour, and it was pretty nice. Only $55. The meal was included. It was excellent.
Wow.
When I started walking the grounds, especially at the zone in the colonial area, which is the historic area in the capital city of Santo Domingo, I was nice and full. The food was good. I had seconds. Everybody else was being like polite. I had seconds. I did. I had seconds. We were walking the tour, and I'm like, gosh, this feels good. The ground feels good to me. And even though the rest of the people on the tour, I didn't know any of them, I actually said it out loud. I like it here. And people were looking at me and smiling like they agreed. They liked it too. And I'm like, I feel something here. And so that's the feeling. That's the same
Exactly.
feeling when you find that house, that condo, that apartment that you like. And so then I went back several times, just visiting, trying to make sure, trying to prove to myself that, no, this isn't it, but it was impossible. The people are warm. The people look like me. They actually remind me of my old self. before I got like beaten up with education and working in the medical field. The old me, it's like, yeah, I remember I used to be soft and like that. I'm like, I like that. And they're very nice to me. And then what I was reminded of, because I watched a lot of videos for Portugal and other countries, and there's this one guy, he's called the Nomad Capitalist, and he talks about all thing expatriate.
I watch him a lot.
Yeah, he's good, right? He's very
Yes.
informative. He's very wealthy, but yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
But he says, go where you're treated well. That's what he said.
I was watching him last night.
Yeah, he's very informative. I watch him a lot, and that stayed in my mind as I would go there and I would visit, and sometimes I would rent a car, sometimes not. And I just went to several areas, and I just couldn't shake the colonial zone. I like the historical buildings. I like the flowers hanging from the balcony. I liked seeing older women, and there are Dominican Republican women for sure. There's not a huge Black expat community in the zone area. That's my plan. Let's build a family here, because it's very community oriented. Actually, the Dominican Republic is very family and community oriented. And so what I liked seeing and hearing is neighbors who've been there 20, 30 years talking to each other from across the balcony, drinking coffee. I liked in the mornings, they would be out sweeping the sidewalk, older women like me, sweeping the sidewalk or watering down the plants or just talking to each other, saying hi. And so I like that. And I actually saw one woman taking a cup of something. I don't know whether it was sugar, salt, or whatever it was, but taking it to the neighbor next door. And it's like, hey, I remember, I'm old enough to remember those days when you could go to your neighbor and say,
Community.
hey, with sugar. I stopped and watched as she went into the neighbor's house with that cup of whatever it was. And I thought, oh, this is really, really nice. It's slow, and living in Los Angeles, everybody's going nowhere fast. I like the pace. So then I decided, okay, so let me see what the housing is like. Let me see what the healthcare is like. Let me see, what the safety is like. Let me see what the transportation is like. Can I handle it? Because I like to drive. And I definitely like the community aspect. I like the fact that they respect older people. There's a lot of respect for older people. There's a lot of respect for women there. Living in California, it's common, especially in my field, to see women being battered by men. And that's just something that doesn't happen there. I just see a huge sense of respect of the woman by the Dominican man. And I like that, especially the older women. So I like that part of it. And the exchange rate is good. The cost
What's
of
the exchange rate for the peso? Is it peso?
Yes, it's Dominican pesos. It's not as good as Panama. And the pensionado, the minimum requirement, I think, isn't as low as Panama. So the exchange rate currently, and it changes every day, it's like 61 pesos for the dollar, which is good.
Yeah.
And the cost of living is very, very good. Very good. I really like that. And how I was able to really appreciate that is when I purchased the home and started having like renovations done to the home, like in terms of the electrician had to come out, the plumber. And in my head, I was thinking, oh my God, $20,000, $30,000, which is what you'd be spending, especially around here in California.
Right.
So we had a plumber, we had a contractor, like an engineer come out, and electricians come out, because I wanted everything updated on the inside of the house, because it is UNESCO, if you're familiar with that. It's colonial, it's historical, and they want to maintain that exterior colonial structure. So you can paint it, but it has to maintain a colonial appearance. But on the inside, you can do what you want. And so we had the plumber, we had all this lowering of ceilings. I mean, major work done. And I was thinking, oh my God, how much money am I going to be spending for the renovations? And I was really, really, really impressed by, how I wouldn't say it was cheap by any means, but it wasn't as shocking and as painfully expensive as it would have been to do something to that degree here in the United States. I don't think in any state in the United States I would have gotten the amount of work that
Can
I'm
you see
getting
her?
done. Yeah, here. And what helps me to make the transition easier, the relocation easier, is to connect with someone, a Dominican Republic that speaks English and Spanish.
Spanish.
And so the lady that I am working with, I mean,
Okay, Jackie, thank you.
she is so professional. Her company is called Now Relax. And without her, I don't think I would have been able to relax.
Mm.
Um, she is the general manager, and I mean, I can't do anything without her now. I mean, she does everything. She's coordinating the work for me because I'm here in Los Angeles and she's there every day going to the work site and managing the crew. And she'll send me pictures or videos and, do you like this? Do you like that? So she makes it easy for me. We went to get all the electricity train changed in my name because I had tried to do it online and it's nearly impossible. Now I speak some Spanish, and in a pinch, I can speak and understand a lot more than I'm aware of because I can communicate when my back is against the wall. But she helps me quite a bit to get things done. So she's made the transition for me easier. And I have a choice between the pensionado and the residency via investment. The Dominican Republic at this point, at this time, is really undergoing major revitalization. I think way back, maybe 15, 20 years ago, it may have been called a third world country, but it is no longer a third world country. There's 8 international airports. There's infrastructure in place for shipping and transportation. Um, yeah, it's a tourist hotspot. It is an expat haven, and the north coast of the island is there's a very large expat community on the north coast and on the eastern coast of the island. Mostly Europeans, Italians, French, Germans, and Canadians, and as well as Americans.
Okay.
There's a huge expat community. My goal though is to what's this the word blingo. We need some blingos. That's what we need. Some women, some black women and black men to
Yeah.
to build
So
some
it's not very diverse.
it's not. Well, there's a large Chinese community there too,
Yeah.
very large, and they've really flourished. They have major stores.
Businesses, yeah.
Very, yeah. They've taken advantage of the opportunities that are available there. And one of the things that I like there is that it is wide open for you to come there, and they encourage it. They make it easy to do the investment retirement visa and the pensionado.
So what are the requirements for that?
For the pensionado, the minimum is 1,500. I think for Panama, it's like 1,000,
It's
right?
1,000. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's 1,500. Versus Mexico, they've raised their.
Oh yeah, it's like
Oh my
$4,300.
God! Yeah, that's a
They
lot.
only want the rich ones.
Yeah, I guess they can afford to do that, but no, it's only 1,500, and the basic paperwork is required. Some people like to get an attorney to do it. Some people like the footwork to do it on
So
their
you don't
own.
need an attorney.
You don't have to have an attorney
In
to do it.
Panama, you do.
I think it's best so that it can make it easier for them
Right.
to push the paperwork through for you. Because what I find is that, and maybe that happens here too, if you speak the language, it's easier to get things done. And so if you have an attorney that can
Mm-hmm.
speak the language for you and make it just a very easy process. But the initial paperwork,
I'm
I
just so
present it
sad
myself.
they
Right
can
now,
see
I'm
her.
waiting on.
She's giving good information.
I'm sorry.
No. My live. The people on YouTube still can't see you.
They
But
cannot.
I said it's so sad because you're giving such good information. We're just gonna do it differently next time. We're just not gonna do both. We're just gonna stay on the stream.
Who is that went to South Bend? Somebody's been to South Bend. I can't see. I should. Cheryl? She said she grew up going to South Bend. From where? Gary, Chicago, Ohio, where?
We see you and hear you great, Denise. Okay, that's good.
So.
Oh, we got a lot of. Yeah, they're talking about the cost of living, guys.
Oh, the cost of living.
I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop a link. I'm gonna go on my laptop and I'm gonna drop the restream link. So if you guys click on that, you'll be able to get on the other stream. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do because the information is very important. I think you need
from
it.
Chicago. Okay.
So let me do this. Go ahead, finish with your presentation, and then we
I
can
was
take
reading
your
the
questions.
comments. Somebody's visiting South Bend from Chicago. Yeah, we used to go to was it called Great America in
She's
Chicago?
on YouTube and she can see and hear. So I don't understand why they can't see you over here. But don't worry, keep going.
Okay, so somebody wanted to know some information in dollars about the cost of living. I was watching a video yesterday where this one girl, her video name is called Purely Walking, and so she did a cost-to-cost comparison between Florida and the Dominican Republic. Okay. And she just bought the necessary items, food, eggs, milk, and things like that. And it's $8 more expensive to buy just those basic items in Florida versus the Dominican Republic. Now, for me, my personal experience is because the place that I purchased, it's my residence, but I'll be using it as a guest house. And so it has three stories, and the first story, it will be my private space, but the second floor and the third floor, the second floor has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and then the third floor has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And that's where I'll be having my relocation tours and helping people to either come and scout or come for vacation or come to get the retirement information. That's where I'll be having those people reside and accommodate them in that space. But I had to purchase like 3 refrigerators, 3 cooktops, 3 washer dryer units, 3 of everything to complete the renovations for the home.
Wow.
And as I was buying all of those appliances, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God.
Hold on for me, Marcia. Hold on.
What kind of money?
You guys, hey,
Taste of Chicago.
Hold on. I just dropped the link to the restream on the Facebook page for single women retiring abroad, and also on YouTube in the community, on the community tab. So I'm going to close this live because you guys can't see Marcia, but everybody who is on the stream, they're able to see her. So click on that link so you can join that stream. Okay? I am so sorry. Tell you, I need an assistant just to do these things.
I think you're doing awesome.
All right.
You're doing awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the other side, okay?
No, I see people, the Taste of Chicago. It's been a while. I do remember that. South Side, yes. The hot dogs. Oh, yes.
All righty.
Michigan too. Michigan's in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got quite a few. All right, you ready for questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me look at my notes. Let me see if there isn't anything that I intended to share.
Right. So let's see if I see anything here. Cheryl, PhD. What is the cost of living? Did she answer that? Did you answer the cost of living?
Yes, I gave the comparison with just buying basic everyday foods between Florida and the Dominican Republic, and it came out to be $8 more. $8 more. Rents are just more, and it depends on where you live.
Exactly,
just like in the United States. Yes, it depends on where you live, and just like everywhere else in the Dominican Republic, you can live for $250 a month, all the way up to 6,000 a month,
Rent-wise.
depending on where you want to
Location,
live.
location,
Yeah,
and
yes, there
amenities.
are some very, very wealthy Dominican Republics. We have to just forgive what the media tries to feed to us. There's some
Mm-hmm.
very wealthy Dominican Republicans.
Mm-hmm. So let's say for an average expat, I don't know what that is. I'm saying average.
Mhm.
But what area would you would find a decent apartment or home?
Anywhere on the island,
Okay.
you can find decent
So
anywhere,
you have
and it
different
depends on your
tiers
it
depending
depends on your needs.
everywhere.
Yeah, because some people like Punta Cana, which is the most famous place. When people
But
talk
it's
about
more like for
Dominican
people who are, visiting, right?
resort, exactly, Maggie,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I didn't want that
Okay.
vacation feeling. I want to feel like I'm at home. Now, if I want to go to Punta Cana for a weekend and enjoy the hoopla, then I
Mm-hmm.
can go there and come back where it's calm.
What about electricity, utilities? How is that?
It's cheaper than California for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
everything is cheaper in California. So would it be
So
like
it depends on
$75,
your use.
150?
It's tropical, so it does get hot there.
Okay.
So AC for some people is required. I don't actually require AC,
Mm-hmm.
but most people want AC. Because it does get hot there. There is a
Mm-hmm.
rainy season between May and November, somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it rains to the point where there's going to be a flood and your car's going to float down a hill or anything like
Right. Well, we get some of that.
that. But
Okay. Is there Uber transportation?
yes, there's mass transportation, number one. There's a subway, and they even have the cable cars
They
that
have
carry
a
you.
subway.
Yeah, they have a subway. They have even the cable cars
Hey,
that carry you up above the trees. It's so beautiful
nice.
from one side of the
So
city
it's
to the
like one of those above.
Yes, yes,
Nice.
yes, 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 yes. And so they do
Okay.
have the Uber, they do have the motorcycles. And when I first saw the motorcycle like transportation, I thought, oh my, that's risky. But I see a lot of older women. They hop right on
Mm-hmm.
the back and the driver just takes them where they want to go. And the thing
Mm-hmm.
about that is you may spend $1.50 to get where you want to
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very,
Okay.
very, very cheap to get around town.
Yeah,
Um,
like it is in Panama. It's very cheap to get
very
around.
cheap to get around. That's
I
not
mean,
even,
rush hour traffic, holidays,
yeah,
it does go up a little bit.
yeah. So that's for like the Uber, but on the Moto Concho is what those motorcycles are called. They can get you where you want to go if you are in a hurry and it's rush hour traffic because they
Right,
can go
because they
around the
can weave
car.
in between. But
And
do
I
they
haven't,
do they have a helmet for you?
no, no, you have to have your own.
No, no
They
helmet.
have theirs. Yeah, they have theirs. Yeah. Because if they
I,
carried one, then everyone would be wearing the same helmet. And I
I
don't
was
know.
in Rwanda and I refused to get on one of those.
Me too. I think if I were in a pinch and I had to get somewhere, I might brave it, but yeah.
Ah!
But
Okay, there's a
females
question
driving too.
about why did you choose residency over citizenship?
Okay, no, I'm going for citizenship. Yeah,
Okay.
this is the thing. This is one of the benefits of retirement, the pensionado or the investment
Hmm.
residency. They
Hmm.
have a process there called the fast track because they are so
Oh,
serious about retirees and people who want to invest coming to the
right,
country. Mhm. And so they make it easy. The paperwork's the paperwork. That's the bureaucracy of that is not going to go away. You're going to have to
right.
submit, those paperworks, and wait. And it's a little slower. So mañana or tomorrow uh, doesn't mean tomorrow. It just means not today.
That's what I said over here too. It's not today.
Don't get caught in that one. And at 9 a.m., if the appointment is at 9 a.m., some places will hold to the 9 a.m., but it basically means this morning.
Listen, this is a cultural thing. I'm doing some renovation or whatever around my house, and
Uh-huh.
I'm at an appointment for 9 a.m. And I'm like, okay, Maggie, you're in Florida, slow down. It was like 10 o'clock. They walked in. I kept calling to say, are they coming? And I'm thinking, did I get scammed? I mean, all kinds of stuff, things going through my mind. And then this is like the thing. They just walk in. Hey, good morning, Miss Maggie. It wasn't sorry we're late.
Oh,
No. It's we're here.
Mhm. That's just how it is. And even though, the lifestyle around here is definitely, want it done yesterday, the minute I get off the plane, and I've learned this, the minute I get off the plane, I take a deep breath,
And
take my
decompress,
shoulders
relax.
down, and get ready to wait. And,
Yes.
and that's just what I do. And now I've gotten to the point where, hey, it's okay with me. Yeah, it's okay with me. Whenever
Can
we
we go
start,
back over the residency though?
yeah,
Because like the capital nomad capitalists say, you can buy a
yeah,
residency,
mhm,
or
yeah,
just by investing.
yeah,
But you can, as a pensionado visa holder,
yeah.
just fast track to residency. I mean
Through
to citizenship.
Yes. Okay, that's
We
where I
can do
was.
that
Okay,
here
so
in
yes,
Panama.
through that, yeah, it's called the fast track, and you can apply for the residency via your pension, the minimum being
Okay.
1,500,
Hmm.
or you can do the investment, and that is a $200,000 investment. So I qualify for both because I purchased the
Hmm.
home.
Right.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah,
for me,
that's the friendly nations here, and they have investment visa here too. Yeah, I
yeah,
get a little confused with all the different tiers and differences, but I say if you're interested, just
do it.
talk to the attorney.
With that, you don't get the temporary residency with that. You go straight to the permanent residency with that one. And
Right.
within 6 months, you can get the citizenship. So that's what I'm going
Wow.
for.
That
Mhm.
that is great information, y'all.
That's
I
what
did
I'm
not
going
know
for.
that.
Because I
And that's
want,
with the investment.
yes, and for the pension too. And for the
Wow.
pension. There's a fast track because that's
That
what
is
they want.
amazing.
They want retirees there. They want people to come and
Yeah, to
invest.
come and spend your money.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's about. But at the same time, they make it easy and the door is open for you to, have any type of business that you want. You can be an
Okay.
entrepreneur there. You can open up any kind of shop. And if you open it in a tourist area, it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation.
Like a restaurant or something like that.
Anything you want to sell, anything you want to sell,
Mm.
it's the door is wide open for it for investments. And so I like that. I'm waiting on some paperwork. So I don't think I'm
This
going to
is
have
good
a problem
information.
with
I
it.
didn't know that. All right,
Mhm.
here's another question. Does the Panama and Dominican Republic infrastructure and culture support seniors with memory care and mobility issues? So I'll answer that first. What do you think about that? Infrastructure in Panama is pretty good. Okay. Well, our people probably came over. We just jumped from 29 to 41. Yay. So I think next time we'll forget about that other one. We'll just stay here. But Janice still never made it to us. So
Okay. I think it's probably the time. Mhm.
oh, I hope not. I
Mhm.
said Eastern time.
Mhm.
Okay, but anyway, I mean, she's like 5 or 6 hours ahead, so I don't know. Infrastructure is pretty good, even though the other day I took a long trip. The roads, probably need some TLC. But generally speaking, it's better than like Costa Rica, for example, in terms of infrastructure. We do have a metro system in the city. We have buses galore, and then we have the Uber and lots of taxis. So getting around is not a problem. Panama City, in terms of walkability, not so good, okay? Because people have stripped and fallen and broken ankles in the city, depending on the neighborhood. So one of the questions I get a lot is like, what is the walkability? That's why you need to come on your scouting trips
Yeah.
and start walking around so you can see for yourself. But what I tell people, you first come to a place and you're doing this, you're doing that. That's how people fall and they trip.
Exactly. Exactly.
Couple of ladies have had both their ankles broken
Yeah.
and needing surgery. So in that sense, the infrastructure is not that great. Now, if you are in the interior, I assume you may have some unpaved road. And again, you have to be careful where you step. Now, in the city also, if you're in a wheelchair or a scooter, that is iffy. Okay. because the sidewalks are very uneven, and I just wouldn't want somebody to push that little lever with the scooter and just flip. So you have to be real careful where you land in terms of where you live, right? Because of that. If you're just going to come downstairs, pop into an Uber everywhere you go, that can work. But if you insist on using your wheelchair and scooter in the neighborhood, it may not be. Now, one neighborhood that was a planned community, Costa del Este, they have really wide walk path where you could use your scooter. But rent is usually a little pricier in that area. So again, do your due diligence and in terms of mobility. Memory care, we do have maybe a couple of long-term care facility that advertise that they have capability to manage people with memory care. But this is on my list to do this week, to just go and visit and see, because that's what I used to do. I used to work in long-term care. And for our ladies, we need that information. But they do have those facilities, but it's like any long-term care facility. You're going to pay a monthly fee. Once I get those numbers, I will give them to you. But uh, this is Stephanie Perry. No, Jackie Lang does have an article on her website, PanamaRelocationTours.com, where she puts out prices in different long-term care facilities that are or will be available to seniors. Because, we are aging and so many of us are coming. I know it's a matter of time before these places pop up. Now, personally, I'm not interested in those because I don't want, where'd you go? I don't want to end up in a facility, but that's coming because there's so many people here. She just disappeared. I don't see her face anymore. You came on through YouTube. I don't know what was going on there. I see her on YouTube. Okay. We're in the Dominican Republic. I think she mentioned that earlier. Marcia, ¿dónde está? How did you downsize your homes when you were planning to move to Panama? No, you know what I did? I started giving things away early, I had friends come over and say, take whatever you need. I had this friend came with a minivan and packed it up. Then, first of all, I told my kids, my daughter is like, what do you want? She only wanted a painting, so she took that. I have cousins in the area. I took things, in terms of dishes and stuff like that, take to her. So what friends and family didn't take, then I used Facebook Marketplace. That was really good. People, because if you have decent stuff, people will come and get it. Then I did a garage sale that never goes well. Just too much work and very little money. People don't want to pay anything. And then towards the end, whatever I did not sell, whatever I did not give to someone, I took to. Oh, she said her laptop battery died. Oh my God. They would plug it in. Oh dear. Um, and then I went to the last one was what is it again? That you donate your stuff. Goodwill. So I made several trips to Goodwill. And at the last minute, I had my suits and everything. I found this charity that was providing clothing to women coming out of prison. So I just took the rest to them. So, and I remember the last couple of weeks, everything was gone. Even my bed was gone. Somebody came and took it. I ended up sleeping in my closet for the the last 2 weeks before I left. So it's a process, and let me tell you, be ready because it is very, very emotional. At least for me, to watch somebody walk away with things that you have spent time and energy to your research. I remember my table. It took me so long to find my dining room table. Then to have it's a roller coaster. It's very emotional. I hope she's gonna plug her laptop. I don't understand. I want to bring my mother. She has mobility memory care issue. Can the infrastructure support it? I think I just spoke about that. I've seen videos about places in Mexico that support. Okay, she said she's back again. That supports people with those kind of issues. And I think the biggest thing for us outside of the US is that you may be able to hire someone to take care of your loved one at a fraction of the cost. So even if you don't, she said where is she? I don't see her. Up there she is.
Yeah.
Girl,
Sorry.
what do
Yeah.
you mean your laptop failed? You didn't plug it in.
No, I didn't. I thought it was fully charged, but I guess not. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
Marcia is back. I just talked about the mobility, the infrastructure, and if somebody wants to bring an aging parent that has mobility issues, I already talked about how difficult it might be in the city and probably in the interior as well. But there are facilities where you can put your mom, but think about it from a cultural standpoint. How's she going to feel? Everybody around her going to speak Spanish. So you got to think about those things. But one option I was telling them is that you can hire someone to take care of your loved one at a fraction of the cost. So, that option is out there for you. So, what about the DL? Do you know anything about the infrastructure?
There was one other thing before you went to that. The transportation. Is that what you covered?
No, you talked about transportation. You said you have a subway and you have buses and there
Uber
is
and all of that is
Uber. You did
available.
answer
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So in terms of healthcare, they have many healthcare facilities. Um,
Okay. For seniors.
what they don't have in place there is they don't have like a like what we have around here, like a food stamp and what do you call this other thing? A Section 8. They don't have those
Oh,
types of services there because the Dominican Republic is still very family oriented. So the children
they
actually take
take
care of
care
their
of
parents,
grandma. Mm-hmm.
and other family members take care of their aging parents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they do have facilities there that you can pay for, and with the
Right.
international insurance plans, and they also have local health plans for expatriates to provide those services. But most expats that live there have people living in their homes with them anyway,
Taking care of them.
doing the
And I
laundry,
think
doing
to
all the
me
cooking and cleaning.
that's the better deal,
Yeah, and
right?
that's
Because you're
it's
getting
very low
personalized
cost.
care. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the properties come um,
A
uh,
maid.
with housing, like the maid's quarters, like
Mm-hmm.
a
Oh, here
bedroom with
the
a
same here in
bathroom and that
Panama.
kind of thing. Most of the places are either built or they already have that
Gotcha.
in place. So people, they're used to having people live with them to care for them. But then to me, that opens up a whole new door for an investment opportunity.
I know,
Provide
and that's
those.
what I'm saying. People with the money and the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge are looking because this is like a cash cow because we're
Yeah, it
all
is. It is.
aging and we're living
Yes,
longer.
yes, we
And
are.
we, mhm.
And I was listening before I got locked out of here, Maggie, where you said that people are injuring themselves. I've already done it. When I was there, this was back in August of last year.
Mhm.
I don't know what I was doing, wasn't paying attention to where I was going. And I had a coffee in one hand and a salad in the other hand, and I was looking around. And before I knew it, I was on the
Looking
ground
around that
and
part.
sprained my ankle so bad. And the young men were rushing to help me, right? And I just wasn't going to spill my coffee. I wasn't going to spill my salad, but they helped me up, and then they just carried me literally by the elbows to my Airbnb. But my ankle swelled up so bad, and I just immediately started icing it and ricing it, right? Resting it,
Yeah.
icing, compression, and elevation. I just did all of that. But it just put a damper on my trip that time. But it
Mhm.
swelled up pretty big, and it's really easy to step off of a curb when you're not
Definitely. So
like
you have to pay attention where you're stepping.
definitely.
He was
So
also asking about, she's bringing
walkability.
her mom.
Yeah,
And the
walking
mom
this
has
way.
mobility issues. Do you see
Yeah.
people in wheelchair or walkers? What do you see?
I have not seen anybody in a wheelchair there, even though
Okay.
I've seen a lot of elderly women that live in the zonal area where I live,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just walking slow. They're
Okay.
ambulating very, very slowly. I guess they already know you can
Right.
fall, so they're very, very careful. But I have not seen anyone walking or being pushed around in a wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
other than when they're going in and out of one of the public facilities. They have their public facilities and they have their private facilities.
Yeah.
And those facilities are useful for everybody. The public one is just like a public facility here. If you go to a state facility, you're not going to be seen in 5 minutes when walking in the door. You're going to wait. It's going to be an all day
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there probably won't be a lot of people in the public facility that speak English. So you're going
Mm-hmm.
to have some challenges with that. But the private facilities are top notch. I didn't even know I was diabetic until I got a medical examination in the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
Have a primary care here, and I have to literally like, hey, don't you think we need to check my kidneys? Don't you think? Oh no, Marcia, you're healthy, you're strong, you're healthy. I'm like, well, no, this is a 69-year-old body. Let's make sure it's a
Uh-huh.
69-year-old liver. The kidneys are 69. Let's make sure they're still functioning, right? And she's so stingy, like she's paying for my lab.
You're
But
so funny.
I didn't know that I was pre-diabetic until I went there because they got the full scope. Then this is the deal. Listen to this. They gave me a full scope of lab. I mean, got everything. The UA, they did a EKG, they did an ultrasound, they did a chest X-ray,
Wow.
they did a full-on stress test on the treadmill with me connected,
Wow.
and I spent $350.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we tell people. Even if you don't have insurance like we think of it in the US,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to afford your care
Yeah.
because what we do in Panama, most of us, we self, what did I say? What do they call it?
Self-pay.
Right. But it's like every month you put a little money to the side so that when you go see the doctor, you could just, it's part of your budget.
Mm-hmm.
You save some money because a lot of us, and I think this is going to come in terms of, cost of healthcare. I just switched from regular Medicare to Medicare Advantage, which will cover me in an emergency. Anything that requires like a trip to an urgent care and up is covered. And then most,
Wait,
yeah,
Maggie. I thought that the Medicare does not cover outside the
not
U.S.
Medicare Advantage,
Okay, that's a
not
supplement.
straight Medicare.
Okay, the supplement.
Medicare Advantage by law
Mm-hmm.
will self-insure. Thank you, Valerie. Will I think it's something else we call it. Will cover you anywhere in the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that covered. Now, because of my age in Panama, if you're over 64, it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult for you to get coverage because they think
Exactly.
everything is gonna, you have some kind of pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
So what we do, we self-insure, like Valerie said, we put some money to the side so we can go to the doctor if you have the sniffles, you have the flu or whatever, and you get all your screening like you just did
Mm-hmm.
done, but you have the money set aside. So
Yeah.
it's not a surprise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you have any emergency, it's covered. Now, what was I gonna say is that before, well, this is February. Yes.
Yeah.
When you had the Medicare Advantage, when you walk into a hospital, you had to give your credit card and they did an evaluation of what they think your care is going to cost. And they would bill your credit card, right? And when you're being discharged, they do an itemized review of all your charges. In the beginning, they may say, okay, it might cost $2,000. So they will bill your card $2,000. But at the end, once they itemize everything, you may get a refund because of how affordable things are. So a lot of us, that's what we do. We have the Medicare Advantage and then we self-insure. But the other thing now, they're just gonna now, because of Jackie Lang, who is a big person here in Panama, she's worked with a billing company that's going to be doing the billing for us, so we don't have to be, prepaying pretty much for the Medicare Advantage.
Mhm.
Well, if you have any kind of heavy pre-existing condition, you're pretty much not going to get coverage in Panama. And
Yeah.
if you 70, 75 plus, probably not. But we do have like one option. There is one hospital called Hospital Santa Fe. Everybody, not everybody, a lot of people know about it. It's a hospital plan that, yes, please take my email. And you can sign up with this hospital plan and you will be covered regardless of your age. They're not going to ask you, how old you are. So the healthcare situation is very important for people our ages.
It is very, very, very important
Mhm.
for the Dominican Republic. What I have right now, because I travel there, I still have my employer's insurance that covers me for the States.
Right?
But God forbid something happens when I'm there, even a car accident. I want them to be able to take me to a hospital and take care of me and expatriate me if I need to, be expatriated back to Florida, because that's what most of the insurance companies will do. The
Right.
international plans, they will take you to the closest US facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the signal right now, but once I move there in September, I will probably next year apply for the more local coverages. And Maggie, that's very true for the Dominican Republic as well. At
Mm-hmm.
65, it's very challenging to get
Mm-hmm.
insurance. And then when I read that at 70, it's even more challenging. And I'm 69, so I ran and locked in Cigna
Good for you.
in September.
Because you can get the international plan also.
Right.
But
That's
if
what I
you're
have.
70, 75, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's hard.
cost you.
There
Mm-hmm.
are some that will cover you, but it's just going to be more
Mm-hmm.
challenge. It's just going to be more expensive.
It is going to, and
More
then you
expensive.
have to understand it's expensive, but compared to what, right? If
Yeah.
you're in the States, even if you have insurance, whatever the insurance doesn't pay, you could still get bankrupt. You can,
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
so
And the care
yeah.
is the same, but the cost is just a lot cheaper. And this is interesting because the home that I purchased, the people that lived there who sold the home to me, it was their family home. They've been there. All of their neighbors know each other, and her parents had moved to New York recently, so she was still living there. She's an attorney, and then her
Mm-hmm.
son, who's a neurosurgeon, is still was living there too. So that's who I
Mm-hmm.
bought my home from. But those two
Mm-hmm.
professional individuals, even though they have titles of an attorney and a
Mm-hmm.
neurosurgeon, they're not making the kind of money that an attorney or a neurosurgeon would make in the States.
Right.
Because the coverage is lower, and it has to stay that way because the cost of living is comparable to
And for the people
the
living there too, have to be
right.
able
They
to
can't raise
afford
it
it.
too high. Exactly. So,
Now,
yeah,
in Panama, if you less than, if like in your 50s, you can get, we have some Panama sponsored health plans. Um, young people can get covered for less than $100 a month. Of
exactly.
course, the rates go up,
Yeah,
the older you get. But once you
exactly.
hit 64, it's like the brakes. It's like,
Yeah.
now some of them will cover you if you have what they call a pre-existing condition, but they're saying, well, because you have hypertension, diabetes, and they want to know that it's, stable, but they say we will not cover anything related to this diagnosis for 12, 24 months.
Yeah.
You get coverage, but for 2 years, you can't, submit a claim for anything remotely related. But the hospital Santa Fe that doesn't have age limit, but all your services, anything that happens to you has to be done there at that one hospital. This is a hospital sponsored plan. So you can't go out of there and say, I'm going to see doctors. No, they have a list of doctors, they have their labs. So it's almost like an HMO. And everything has to happen at that hospital. But that's the only option for people 70 plus in Panama. And it's only in the city. It's not in any. If you live in Boquete, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
And someone told me the other day she's like 74, and she got a quote from I don't know if it's Cigna or one of those
Mhm.
international plan. She said they had quoted her like something like twelve
Oh
hundred
yeah,
dollars
mine
a
is
month.
like 800, and it has
No cost.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's going to cost. And I don't
But
mind. I
the
don't mind
thing
because I
with
want it.
Panama,
That's for
though, Panama.
inpatient only, though. That's for inpatient for the most part
Hmm.
for me because um, that's where I like for emergencies is what I would want it for.
Okay, so
If I have to be
do you have
inpatient,
Medicare?
I do have.
Oh, so you have regular Medicare.
Uh-huh. No, well, no, no,
Okay.
no. Hold on. Let me correct that. I'm going to get Medicare when I retire. I fill out my paperwork in
Oh,
July.
okay.
I fill out my paperwork in July. I'm going to get Part A. I'm not going to get
Okay.
Part B because
Yeah.
I'm going to get the international plan and a
Right,
private.
right,
I want to be
right.
covered. I want to be, even though they do have the public facilities that will take care of you,
Hmm.
I want to be able to go to a private facility if I
Hmm.
need that and to be expatriated if I need longer intern care in inpatient care. So
Right.
I don't mind paying the extra.
And I was going to say also that in Panama, we do have the public health system that you could go to a public hospital. And it is way, way, way cheaper. But,
Almost
you
free.
know, they don't have the bells and whistles. But in
Right.
Panama, one good thing is that the physicians who practice in the private sector are required by law to practice some hours in the public sector. So we
Oh,
don't have big discrepancies in providers.
okay.
So that's a good thing.
Okay.
Yep.
What's concerning it for me right now is that there are a lot of people who are ready to retire, ready to draw their Social Security, and whether they want to be an expat or not, it's
Mhm.
questionable about whether we're going to even have the Social Security.
That's
There are
right.
people that are expats right now who didn't get their February check.
Well, the reason they did not get their February check, you know, I see that a lot online.
Mhm.
It is a distinction. If you are moving out of the country and you tell Social Security to deposit your check in a bank in the DR, for example,
Mhm.
so they know that you're living outside of the country.
Mhm.
Every 2 years, there is a form you're supposed to complete to tell Social Security, yes, I'm still here.
I'm
I'm
still
still
alive.
connecting this check. And a lot of people don't know to do that. And that's when automatically the payments stop. So
Mhm.
all they have to do is go to their closest Social Security, get that form. I think it's 1761 or 1762, and just fill it out, and then they'll resume your payment.
Mhm. But no, there's an additional thing with the new administration here. They've shut down the Social Security. So for now, there's just a problem overall with a lot of our social services here in the United States. So uh, that's going to impact a lot of people who had planned to move abroad with their Social Security. So that's
Hmm.
that's going to be devastating, especially for people who are already abroad and didn't get their check. You know, but the same with Panama, Maggie. They
Hmm.
do have their free facilities, and like you said, no bells and whistles. They will
Right,
stabilize you and then transfer you wherever your care is provided or whatever you can pay for. Um,
right.
but they have top notch, state of the art in the Dominican Republic, multiple facilities that provide
And
care.
also, I am hearing the same about Mexico
What?
and the same about Colombia in
Like
terms
in terms
of
of,
quality of care and cost.
mhm,
So
mhm,
people need to have options, you know, and this is why we're doing these things, just to know that you're not stuck in one place. You know, you just need to look at your options and find the place that best suits your need,
yeah. And
right?
someone's asking about home health care. There isn't like a home health care service per se that
Hmm.
I'm aware of in the DR because, like I said, mostly family members take care of each other and they transport their elderly parents or grandparents. A lot of people's grandparents are still alive, to their medical appointments and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
what is readily available is you can have people come and live in your home and take care
So
of you. And
they're looking for jobs.
they will do a good job. Yeah,
We have the same thing here.
over the
Yeah.
top job because
Yes.
they want to be
They
paid. They
want
like
the job. They
they
want the
do.
money.
They
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like their hustle. I really do. I like seeing the guys on the street. I mean, they will sell you anything, but it's sort of like LA. I mean, you can buy anything here in LA
The
on the street.
hustle. Gotta hustle.
I like their hustle. I mean, I prefer having them harass me to buy something
Right.
because here in Los Angeles, on any given day, I can see a long line of quite physically eligible men waiting for their GR check or their food stamp card to be updated. Even if it's raining, they will wait in a long line rather than get their hustle on. So I mean, I
Wow.
like the hustle that
Mhm.
the Dominican women, men and women play.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that because they don't have
Somewhat,
any social
well, I don't
skills
think
here.
we have so much of a hustle culture in Panama because everybody's so chilled.
Hmm.
And we love eating and going to the beach and playing music.
Hey, but Maggie, is their system like this? Like, if you don't work, you don't eat?
I don't know that.
Because in the Dominican Republic, that is it. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Ah,
So you have
no,
to get your hustle on.
I do not. No, I do
You
not
have to
know
get your
that.
hustle on. And that's
I doubt it because Panamanians, I don't think so. I don't know.
there's no social services. There's no food stamp. There's nothing like that. So
Mm.
people are out there like,
Well, the social service, when this new president, there is something called Caja de Seguro Social. This is like the Social Security. It handles, the seniors, your Social Security payment, retirement, and all that. And it's been in crisis mode in terms of finances. So they're doing some, upgrading and changing some things. And I think people were protesting because they wanted to increase the retirement age, and that never goes over very well. So I don't know social services like unemployment. I'm not privy to how that works. There
okay.
was a question about crime. Can you address that?
People like that question. I mean, anytime, and especially when you're on Facebook, people are talking about, oh, I'm going to be going to the Dominican Republic. Should I carry my cash? Where should I
But
bank? And
the media does a good job of scaring
seriously,
people.
it's all hype. Don't buy into the hype because when you look at the global safety index,
Index.
yeah, USA is 132 out of 163. So as Americans right now, I don't know that we should question any
Pointing
country.
the finger at
Not, not
anybody.
not at this time. Maybe in a couple of years we might be able to have a discussion about that. But right now, I mean, a woman was set on fire in New York on the subway, and
Oh
people took
yes, I remember
pictures rather
that.
than throw water on her.
And then we don't have mass shootings and guns and all
None
these
of that happened.
issues.
No school shootings in the Dominican Republic. What they do have is this petty pickpocketing
Petty
kind of
crime,
thing.
which
They
we
have
which
that
we
in
have in
Italy.
Panama.
They also have that in Italy, and they have it in France as well.
Well, I was pickpocketed,
Hmm.
and I say it was my mistake because I wasn't paying attention because I'm in a city
Yeah.
that, and I know better, right? So we have petty crimes in Panama. The police are very friendly, very helpful. So that issue of police brutality is not there.
Oh my God. In the Dominican Republic, I mean, the police and the civilians just talk. And I had my run in already. I mean, hey,
Mhm.
I was speeding. I was actually flying. I'm guilty as charged.
Sorry.
And because no one was on the road except me. And I thought, hey, the music was on, the windows were down, I was singing, you know. And all of a sudden the police runs out into the center of the road like to pull me over, and he's got this speed monitor, and he's holding it up, and it says 110. And
Ooh.
yeah, he starts talking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, no, I don't speak Spanish. He's pulling it up like he asked me for
Slow
my
it
driver's
down.
license. He asked me for my driver's license and all that, and he told me I had court, and I started crying like a baby, actually, real ugly crying, because I had to leave on Monday, and my court date was going to be scheduled for Tuesday. So yeah, we settled it then and there. But
Oh,
yeah, but the thing was, he didn't pull me out of the car.
right?
He didn't
Didn't
pummel me to
handcuff
the
you.
ground. He didn't need to search the trunk. None of that behavior happened. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't think he didn't try to find a reason to haul me into a jail somewhere.
Yeah.
And so that was the difference. That was the difference.
It's the same thing in Panama. We don't have that. Petty crime. In some of the homes in the interior, they say that if, let's say, you're a snowbird and you only live there for a few months out of the year, you live in your house unattended, They have break-ins. But in the city, that's why, people like us, we like to be in the high rise, 24-hour security, and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of crime, the way we think of it in the West,
There's no comparison when you talk about,
yeah,
being safe.
yeah.
When someone can just blow up a car in front of a building for no reason,
I know, running a car in the crowd,
yeah. I mean,
no,
I don't know if I'm ready to have a conversation about violence. Yeah. But
yeah.
now, Maggie, let's talk about this, because someone has a question here about, can they come long term for the DR? An American citizen can come less than 30 days without any visa, without any paperwork. I do that all the time. No paperwork, just my passport. No, they know me actually. Actually, they call me the big fro girl in the airport.
In
But
Panama, you can come for 180 days
without a visa?
without a visa.
Oh, okay.
For
After 30, you
now,
need
it
a visa.
hasn't changed. So
Yeah,
that's why some people, oh, I don't want to go do the visa. I'll just do a border run and come back.
yeah, yeah.
But they don't want you to keep doing it, otherwise they're gonna flag your passport and say, why are you, you know. So
So someone was
let's
asking, could they come
see.
there and scout it out for like a month or so? So yeah, that's true then for Panama. But for the Dominican Republic, you get 30 days, and then you have to, I guess, reapply, step across the line and
Oh,
reapply.
so you can renew it, but you
Yeah,
don't have to go out.
yeah.
You don't have to do a border run. You don't have to leave the country and come back.
No, no, you can just
Oh,
renew
okay.
it.
Now
Just
see,
renew it.
that's a difference.
Or what most people do is just stay and then pay a fee at the airport.
Yeah.
That's what most people
Yeah.
do. They just do it, just overstay it, and then pay the fee at the airport. Yeah, but it's not like they, take your passport hostage or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we talked about, somebody's asking about the cost of eggs. The food in the Dominican Republic is a lot cheaper than I expected. I was really shocked by that, because they do have a lot of things that have to be imported into the island. So I was really shocked at how I can buy so many food items and I really don't spend a lot of money.
Hmm. Now the egg prices, I saw a dozen of cage-free eggs here in at Aldi's, and of course, it's subsidized. It's not as expensive as one of the major stores. It was 10.63 or something like that.
Mhm.
In Panama, a dozen regular eggs, brown eggs, is like 250 to 54.
Right.
So
Which is
big
good,
difference.
which is very
Now,
good.
navigating with Nana says she's in Colombia. We would love to talk to you on this roundtable so you can tell us all about the process in Colombia. So keep that in mind, please.
Okay.
That's not realistic to expect food stamp in other countries. I know food is cheap. What's
Happen.
your budget? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is it possible to come to Panama for a month or so to feel out the culture, what it feels like to be there long term? Absolutely. You just get your ticket and you come. When you get to immigration, they'll stamp your passport and you have 180 days.
Mhm.
Herbal battery against women. Um, we do have some issues of domestic violence in Panama. And then that is something that is concerning. But I think it's a lot to do with culture in some communities. Women not, being assertive or having jobs and being dependent on the men. So that is something. I think they have a whole department looking at that. Education. But education, when you have a woman who doesn't have a way to sustain herself, you
Exactly.
know what I mean, financially. So I think a lot of that, and that's one area that is dear to me, just maneuvering within the culture, but helping that woman to become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they get trapped because this is who pays the bill, this is the sustenance, and they have kids. So you know how the vicious cycle of domestic violence goes. But
And I guess for that reason, prostitution is legal in the Dominican Republic.
so is it here in Panama?
Okay. Yeah.
They have their card. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, yes." But it's a very Catholic community as well, country.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I'm like, yeah. Helen asks, is it possible to work if you like in either place? I'm a retired RN. As a pensionado visa holder, I am not supposed to work. You can do any kind of online side hustle that you want, and it's not taxed in Panama, and you're not limited. You can do anything online, anything remote. Panama also has what we call protected professions, and they have a
Okay.
long list. And medical and legal that I know of, even if you were 28 years old, you can't say, oh, I'm going to transfer my license as a physician also, Marcia, my license from here to there. Let me show me how to do that. Those positions are reserved for the locals.
Exactly. Now,
So
for the
unless you're
Dominican,
working for John Hopkins over there and they're paying your salary over here,
right,
that's okay. But you cannot work for a Panamanian company or for a hospital or practice
right.
as as a professional in those settings. Those are called protected professions.
If as a
And they have a long
permanent
list. I think
resident, I think you can
hairdresser, all
work.
kinds of, they have a long list. And
As a
I
permanent
have the
resident
list.
at the Dominican Republic, I think you can work, but
Mhm.
I think what has to be made note of is that the rate of pay is going to be extremely low. It will be the rate
Well,
that,
yeah, compared
yeah,
to what you're familiar with.
yeah. And then you'll be paying taxes, Dominican taxes. As long as your money is coming from outside of the Dominican Republic, there's no Dominican tax on that. The U.S.
Yes.
still, has their hand in your
If you're getting
pocket.
your money online, teaching online or
Right,
whatever, they don't care about that.
right, exactly. Same at the Dominican Republic.
Good. We have a lot of similarities, but some
Mm-hmm,
differences too.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Did you, SMH asked, did you move any of your furniture to your new country or did you just buy all new furnishings in your new home? I'll let you go first, Marcia.
I'm shipping a lot of things from here because I have stuff that I just cannot leave behind. I have a large collection of books and some furnishings, but for the most part, I will be buying quite a few of my items there, and it'll be a
Mhm,
lot cheaper. But
mhm.
with the residency, I get a duty free. I
Oh.
get 10% off of any taxes that they want to apply to it. So there's lots of benefits um, when you are a resident, and especially if
Mm,
you become a citizen, you get lots of tax
mm.
breaks, lots of tax breaks.
I think in Panama, if you ship your stuff and you a pensionado visa holder, you get a discount
Yes.
also. But I did not move any of my furniture. I got rid of everything. The only thing that I wish I had brought were my knives and my cookware because the quality is not the same. Um, Most of the apartments in Panama City are rented furnished.
Yeah.
So you don't really need, unless you don't, again, as I say, if you're going to go for an apartment that is cheaper, then it's probably not furnished. But in the known areas, it's furnished. Now, the furnishing may not be to your liking. If it's not, then you can replace it. Like I didn't like a dining room that one my apartment came in, so I'm like, oh, take it away. So I got but I didn't have to furnish every single room. So that is an option. But if you want unfurnished and you want to bring your stuff, you can too. They have pallets and they have multiple companies here. That's all they do. Move expats and they'll go to your home in the state. They'll pack everything and they'll bring it in and deliver it to you. Of
Yes, sir.
course, you're going to pay for it.
And in the Dominican Republic, unfurnished means unfurnished. No fridge, no
No
stove.
fridge, no stove. Same in Africa. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh, I think that's it. Are we at the end of the questions? Any other questions, you guys? This is your time to ask. Let's see. What's the entertainment like over there?
You know what I was able to find? The entertainment for the Dominican Republic is really, really similar to Florida, similar to any major city, especially in Santo Domingo. On the North Coast, it is fully, you could say Europeanized,
European.
basically,
Hmm.
and the Eastern Coast as well. So everything's all in place. And for the capital city, Santo Domingo, everything's all in place. I think this guy's name is Vin Diesel. Do you guys know this guy? His name is Vin Diesel.
I've
He's a
heard the name.
director. He's actually opening up or building a movie studio in
Mm.
Puerto Plata, which is a
Oh.
very well populated expat area too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So depending on what you can tolerate in terms of what kind of neighbors you want,
Mm-hmm.
I just want neighbors that talk to me. You know, I've been living here in California and lived in Arizona where people just don't talk. I
I
mean, I
know.
love
It's so
meeting my
sad.
neighbors. It's yeah. And so I just want to be where people are not Airbnb next door to me, you know, and they're coming in and out. I got a new neighbor every other weekend. I don't want that kind of living.
Yeah.
And so that's why I chose the more stabilized area where
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people my age sitting on their
Mm-hmm.
in front of their homes too. So I like that. I like that
In
community.
the city here in Panama, Panama is really a foodie place, foodie town. So we have all cuisines here.
Yeah.
Lots of entertainment, concerts. We had the opera, ballet, you name it, we got it, right? And all these expat communities are hopping. There is salsa dancing, there is swimming, there is all kinds of things. Now, again, it depends on the neighborhood and it depends on in the area. People ask, can they go listen to live music? Yes, we have multiple rooftop bars. Some people go like once a week and they listen to live music, jazz. We
Yeah.
have even in our expat community some singers, they would go. And we have kind of Moulin Rouge type of there's a casino where you can go and they have live shows. So there is a lot here in Panama
Mhm.
for people to enjoy. But if you like the quiet and you like bird watching, yeah, you go to the mountains and they they do that too. So
Same as in the Dominican Republic. There's all kinds of activities, nightlife. I'm not a part of nightlife, so that's not
me
what would
neither.
attract me. But there's even a Baptist church in the capital that has English speaking services, and I was
We
really
do have
shocked to
some
hear about
churches with English
that.
speaking services, Catholic and Protestant.
Mhm,
Hmm.
mhm. So there's a little of everything, you know, even though it is a Caribbean country and it is tropical. There
Hmm.
are areas that you can live in that are higher up into the mountains where
Hmm.
the
Nice and cool.
temperatures are get a little chilly actually,
Hmm.
and a lot of people
And
choose to
some
live
people
there.
love that.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
good to go up there for a change.
I
Yeah.
mean, I love the cool. I just want other things to do.
Yes, yes,
Some places, they're like, I mean, it's gorgeous. I go visit. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, okay, now what else is there for me to do?
yes,
I
yes,
like to just get down and know that I have options.
yeah,
So, and of course, I tell my ladies, we do have the group. It's like when you're choosing your spot, just make sure you have things accessible to you, your doctors,
yes,
food,
yes.
so
What's
that you don't have to drive to go anywhere.
mhm.
So we're very good about pointing that out. Don't just go live in the boonies because no,
Yes,
there is no helicopter, no emergency services to come get
exactly,
you. So you
exactly.
have to make sure you understand that.
Same for the DR. Same for the DR. And
Hmm.
for me, I had to continuously like remind myself. It's like, okay, Marcia, this place is a good place to come for vacation. It's not
To
where you come
live.
to live.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I can go. Actually, my first year, I will spend the entire year just checking out the entire island, just visiting different areas because there's
Mhm.
beaches
I
all
did
over.
that last year too. I
Mhm.
just traveled for
Just
like, I think
do
about a
that.
month. I just went from one community to the other.
Just do that.
Just see how it looks, how
Mhm,
it felt. And then I circle back and I'm like, okay, I'm
mhm,
staying in the city.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
just
Me
me,
too. Me
right?
too.
Some people
Me
love
too.
the beach.
Yeah.
I love to go to the beach sometimes, but I don't have to have it every single day. And then it's like there's nothing else to do. I have to drive, take a taxi to go to the store. I like, and I wasn't like that before. I used to love to be in the country and other thing. You get
I don't
older
like
and
the
you
beach.
change, your
I don't like
needs
the beach at
change.
all. I
Yeah.
don't like the beach. I've never liked the beach. I don't like sand in my toes. So, but
You
my
don't like
place
the
is not
feeling of sand
walking.
in your toes. That's so
I
funny.
don't like that. I don't like that at all. I do not like walking on the sand. That's not my thing. I don't want the water rushing towards me. I don't like any of that.
Oh,
But I do live 1 block away from the Caribbean Sea. I can definitely walk along the Malecon, which stretches miles and miles and miles of just
yes.
very scenic, all very well kept, very clean, very beautiful, very pretty. The sea is
Hmm.
there if you want to, get close to
And
it.
what's your area again in the DR?
It's the capital. It's Santo Domingo, but
Santo
specifically the
Domingo.
enclave is
Hmm.
the colonial zone.
Colonial Zone. Okay.
So if you Google that, you'll
I
just
went
find.
there a long time ago. I was a young thing when I went to the DR.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's
let's
still there.
see.
Let's see if I
Any
can
other
find
questions, ladies and gents? Otherwise,
it.
I'll go into it's been 2 hours. I know
Mhm.
we had a bumpy beginning, but hopefully, so Marcia, as we said, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to say to Janice. What we agreed to do to hold these the fourth Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
So we will try to bring different individuals so we can learn about life
Different
in those
areas.
places as an
Yes.
expat and the process of getting there. So
Yes.
in your neighborhood, so are you working on building community or you already have?
Exactly. Yeah, let me talk about that. I wasn't on here to blow up myself. But let me talk about that because um and this is the thing, guys. I know that as a retiring physician, I don't want to practice any more medicine. I'm okay with laying down my pen, I'm done.
Okay.
But I was, I've been scouting around looking for places to really, lay
Find
down
your
my
place.
roots.
Mhm.
Yes. And in my mind, it's like, okay, so find you a nice place that you like and just settle down. But then this thing came into me, and I'm not sure what's driving me. It's just it feels weird, but it's driving me, and it's actually whatever this energy is, whatever this entity is, that's making me want to not only expatriate but to help others that want to leave the U.S. too. There are people that, hey, they want to leave, but it's how does it work? How do you do it? Some people aren't
Exactly.
as adventurous as I am. Um,
Right.
so that's why I thought, okay, so I'm going to help some other people. Um, I'm going to do some relocation and retirement tours. Just bring people
Mhm.
here,
Mhm. A lot of people are doing that.
find a place, and
Mhm.
just automatically a house showed up, and it was big enough to accommodate people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I will be offering 5-day tours. Come and we'll have a welcoming dinner. We'll take bus tours to the different retirement havens. Wandolio is one where people love to retire. It's a beach property. It's a beach city, but there's
Mhm.
other areas like Punta Cana. Everybody loves that, and I think everybody
Right.
should see that to see whether they like it or not. And there's Santiago, another city next to Santo Domingo. And the city of Santo Domingo is so large, there's different enclaves. You can definitely get into the hustle bustle of the condo living if that's what you like.
Mhm.
But then there's like nice little neighborhood enclaves of nice little neighborhoods where people know each other and they've been there
Right.
a long time. And so that's what I want to introduce people to during a 5-day tour. You'll have meals
Mhm.
included. You'll be staying in my house. Um, yeah, it's just nice. I'm
Very
hoping to launch
nice.
my first tour in November. The final touches are being done on the property, and yeah, she's looking pretty good.
So when is your moving date?
Well, it depends because see, if I have after March, I will know just how much vacation time, free time I have from work, and I plan to use all of it. So if the numbers are right, I'm hoping to be gone by July, even
Okay.
though my separation date is September
Okay.
for age 70. I'm just trying to capture the max on the Social Security.
Now look at her, 70. Look at that face. Come
Oh my
on.
God, I'm so old. Don't even go there.
No, come on.
Everything
We
hurts.
age like wine.
Everything hurts. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to put my house up for sale. I've been working in the yard. So the first day I was in there for like 6 hours, and the next day it was like, oh, could barely move.
And sometimes I'll be walking around the house and I'll bend over and I'll go, and I'm like, Marcia, stop saying that. You sound old.
Yes, but we're still here and we're still vibrant. So
Yeah.
Oh, there's
So
another
I try to
question.
take care of myself. I try to have a good diet. I love to eat. I love
Hmm.
to eat. But I try to respect the fact that, in my family there is high blood pressure. In my family
Hmm.
there is diabetes. And so I'm very mindful of limiting myself. Like, yeah, you got me in the thoughts of having donuts like yesterday. And you were good.
I
You
had
only
the
had
one
one. I
donut. I had to
know.
have it.
No,
But
there's
this
no less
this
than
girl said,
three.
"Oh, you have so much self control. I would have had three of those." I'm like,
And
"Oh,
that
I
was
know
me.
better."
I would have had
Okay, we have
three at
a few
least.
more questions. Um, the arts are really important. Well, we do have a lot of arts in Panama. Are there public swimming pools in Panama City?
Public swimming
Not
pools.
that I
They
know
only
of.
have the beach. They have
We
the
don't
beach.
have things like the YMCA, right? Every complex, most complexes have, like my building, we have three pools.
Mhm.
So the tenants have access to it. A lot of places don't really want you to bring friends because of the liability,
Yeah.
but you can, if you're having a birthday party, you can reserve the place. So, and before you say anything, just think that in these places, they're not like the US that everybody's going to try to sue you for an accident or anything. It doesn't work like that. You got to keep that mindset over there.
Someone's
Uh,
asking about selling arts and crafts and providing
yeah, I'm
services
going
to
to
the
get to that.
Oh,
Just
the door
hold
is
on.
so wide open for that in the
Yeah, most
DR.
apartments have pools. Stasha, you're right.
Wide
Most have
open for that.
pools. Is it difficult to assimilate into the environment? It wasn't for me.
It was easy for
I
me.
think if you open to the universe opens to you.
Uh-huh.
You're a foreigner in a new place, so you walk around with a smile on your face. You nod to people or you say hola, buenos dias. Most
Hmm.
of the time, they will answer.
Exactly.
So, in terms of assimilating, I talked about the importance of reaching out and connecting with expat groups even before you move. So, you're part of the community, you're watching the conversation, it gives you a feel for what's happening in the community, right? And when you get there, you need to go out of your way to connect with people. Like I have so many people say, Maggie, I'm going to be in town. Can we have lunch? Well, sometimes I can make it work. Most of the time I can't because, I do have a life just because I'm retired. I have a lot of things I'm doing. And like I tell you, there's so much going on in that city that I'm very good at saying, no, today is a end day, those kind of things. So you kind of have to manage your time. But in
Exactly.
terms of assimilating, and of course, we also encourage people not to stick to the expats. You need to
Exactly.
reach out to the
Yeah.
locals,
Yeah.
right? When you're eating, start a conversation and don't be self-conscious about if your Spanish is not great.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
love it when you say things
Try. When
wrong
you
and they'll
try.
smile, even laugh, but not at you, but with you.
They will help you actually.
Exactly. And don't
Yeah.
hang on to that Google Translate so much.
Yeah.
Just start speaking, and I'm going to be doing some Spanish classes. I keep saying that, but it hasn't materialized. I feel like I'm so busy.
Yeah. There's a lot to do in retirement, isn't there?
There's a lot to
To do.
do.
I mean,
So,
for Spanish, I mean, there's some basics that you want to know, like to say, I want.
yes.
What's that?
Yes.
How
So,
far? Where is?
yeah.
Those
So
are
it's
just
not
basically,
difficult. And
yeah.
again, it depends on you need to choose your community wisely. Like you living in a new community, you probably see your neighbor, you will say, Hola,
Yeah.
soy Marcia, or something like that, because they appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
coming into their community, not the other way around.
Oh yeah. When I see ladies talking to each other across the balcony, I say, "Hey, bon dia," and they say it
Mhm.
back to me.
And they love it.
They love it.
They love
They
it.
know I'm the new neighbor because these people have been living there for years, so they
And
know
they're
me.
probably going to invite you to the potluck and to the
Yes.
parties pretty soon. And that's the
Yeah.
best way to
Oh, my
assimilate.
neighbor, I couldn't get my key in the door one day, and I didn't know he was the neighbor actually. And I saw this man walking down the street. He was coming towards me, and I was just fumbling with the key, and I just couldn't get it to open. And he just walked straight up to me, and he spoke in English. Let me help you. And he just helped me get that key in the door. He says, I'm your neighbor. I live right here.
There
And so
you
we just started
go.
talking. He said, anything you need, any place you need to go, let me know if you need somebody to help you interpret. So that's the kind of thing that you get. At the
Yeah.
airport one day, I arrived late. I was so late, I thought I was going to miss my flight. But I had to get in line. to get the printed boarding pass.
Mm.
And when I got to the podium, because they kind of screen you before you get to the actual desk, and I said, I'm going to miss my flight. My flight. I know it. I know it. And he looked at the boarding time. He goes, no, you're not. He took me straight to the desk and escorted me straight through customs, straight to the plane. Yes, he did.
This
So,
is the kind of thing that you
mhm,
miss in the other place, right?
mhm,
Because but that's the way they
yeah,
do things. And if you don't leave home, you probably don't know that these things happen in other places. That's why it's important for you to travel
to
and
travel.
rub shoulder with other
Check it
people.
out.
Yeah, so you can see that
Definitely.
the world can be kind and helpful.
Yeah.
There's another question. What about kids when you're raising your grandkids? Oh,
I think kids, I don't, have kids of I have grandkids. And they're not even kids. They're all my
right, right.
grandkids are adults.
Hmm.
Um, but it's very, very family oriented, like I said, and kids are a part of the culture. Elderly people are a part of the culture. They
Hmm.
value education. Um,
Hmm.
I don't think their kids are is involved in cell phones. You don't see them walking around with cell phones and staring at their cell phones all day. I mean,
We have that here in Panama.
doing other things. Yeah.
But one of the things that I had to get used to in Panama is like you get on the subway, even in the PA system, they tell you people with disabilities,
Yes.
pregnant women, people with kids
Yes.
have priority.
Yes. Exactly.
So many times I get on if it's packed and I'm trying to hang on and somebody would get up and say,
Yeah.
Senora, and
Yes.
they give you their seat. I mean, I
Exactly.
was like,
Yes.
it took me a while.
It was
Now,
weird.
some of the young kids with their uniforms, I don't see them do that so much.
Hmm.
But the older people, I mean, 20s and up, they'll get up. Not all the time, but I'd say 90% of the time they'll do that.
But the men will get up and give you their seat. Yeah, the boys always.
Not 100%, but yeah, most of them do.
Hmm.
I'm not familiar with because my area are older single women, and I haven't come across single older ladies bringing their kids to Panama, but they do have multiple Facebook groups of younger expats with kids talking about the international schools and all the after school programs and the sports. So I am not, I can't speak to something I'm not familiar with, unfortunately. But if you are raising your grandkids and you relocating to Panama with the grandkids, uh,
I just know in the Dominican Republic, they have their private schools are
mhm,
equal to the private schools here in the U.S.
mhm. They
Definitely.
have a lot of private schools in Panama, but what I'm hearing is that they're super expensive.
Well, yeah, they're going to cost.
Yeah.
Homeschooling is
And
also
then
a
the
thing
public system, first of all, they have to know Spanish or they'll be lost. At least in the international school, they're probably bilingual.
yeah,
So
and they'll
that
keep
could
them
be a
busy.
challenge. And I would say if somebody has kids or grandkids they're raising, I would join the young expat groups of people with kids, in the city and in on a beach area called Coronado. They have a lot of them there. That way they can answer your question more intelligently.
Yeah.
My apartment has only a soaking pool. I would like to swim or water walk laps.
Hmm.
Like I said, most apartment buildings have we have big pools in our complex, so you could swim there. In Panama City, even though we have water on both sides, we don't have any beach access beaches type you could just go in the city itself. The
Okay.
closest beach that you can go to is like a 30-minute ferry ride, Taboga Island. And then you can go around the city to other beach areas. But inside the city proper, we
Hmm.
don't have beach access,
Hmm.
which is really weird. But
Hmm.
Gloria from New Jersey, I'm here now in Panama City. Oh, welcome.
Oh,
Bienvenida.
okay.
Since I finished the cruise February 9th, is there any live meetups going on?
Oh, that's a good
Um,
thing.
well, I think this is going to become a type of meetup, hopefully, right,
Exactly.
Marcia?
Yes, actually, this is going to be very
I think that
informative for
was part
all
of
of
your
us.
vision.
For all of us, yes.
Right.
Hmm.
My group on the ground, single women retiring abroad, we try to have a monthly meetings, but for members. If somebody just relocated to Panama and they want to become a member of the group, you can send me an email and then our membership person will vet you and give you the link and all that good stuff. Now, if we have public meetings that anybody can attend, we'll let you know. And most of our events will be listed on the Facebook page, Single Women Retiring Abroad. Like last year, I did like a monthly tea, which I love to do, but some of the ladies didn't think I didn't need to do it every month. So, um,
Maggie, if anyone has any questions for me, you can give them my email address for Casa Las Damas, and they
okay.
can just email me any questions. And if I don't have the answer, I will definitely find the answer
Okay,
for you.
let me drop your email in the chat
Yes.
so that way
Please
they can
ask
reach out
anything you
to
want to
you.
ask. Let me know if you want to come and visit. Definitely make some arrangements.
That would be lovely.
You can check it out.
You know, the ladies are looking for a place to do like a retreat.
Yes.
So I am dropping Marcia's email in the chat.
Mhm.
So if you guys have any need for, if you want to,
Yeah, there it is.
check
And
her out.
I also have a reference guide, and I'm putting the finishing touches on it. It's a
Hmm.
reference guide. It actually speaks to comparing different countries. I think Panama is the most popular retirement spot at this time, number
It was
one.
last year and this year.
But I gave comparisons in terms of what the minimum requirements are for retirement.
That's
There's
good.
lots of new flight 2025 flight information on there. There's definitely information about Casa Las Damas and what I'm offering in terms of my relocation retreats. And so if you want that information, definitely send me an email, shoot me an email. I'll give you that information.
Okay. Well, I put your email in the chat.
Great. Thank
Somebody
you.
asked about hair salon. We have plenty of hair
Oh
salons
my
in
God.
Panama
Yes.
City. I don't know about you. We
Oh my
have
God.
people, I mean,
Everywhere.
I do my own braids, but there are
Nails,
people that do
everything.
braids, they do twists and all kinds of
Yes.
other things.
Everything you want in terms of making yourself pretty in the DR. You can make it happen for cheap.
Are they comfortable with black hair in the
Yes,
DR?
yeah, they look like us, Maggie.
Well, I know.
That's why I like it.
Are there rolling blackouts and water restrictions in Panama? In the city, no. We do have some spots. I wouldn't call them rolling blackouts, but they do have, they call them apagas, where the light might go out for a little bit.
Mhm.
The smaller communities, very remote, some of
Yeah.
them do have water issues in terms of potable water all the time. So we do have some communities that may have that issue, but in the city, no. Ever so often, they would say, "Oh, they're cleaning the, wherever they collect the water, and the water is going to be out from this time to that time."
Yeah.
So you just kind of fill out some buckets in case you need it, but it's very rare. I personally have never had any water issues. I mean, the light went off for like 15 seconds one time. Same thing with the internet, but that happens everywhere.
Yes, exactly. The
In
same with the
fact,
Dominican Republic. There are certain remote
when we
areas.
have bad weather in Florida, you know how it is. You
Yeah.
have, it's just the storm and one little thunder and your cable go off, right?
Yeah.
We don't have that in Panama City. It could be, windy and all, and everything keeps working.
Mhm.
So, what about the water and electricity in the DR?
There's no water issue, but electricity power outages, it depends on where you are. There are some areas that have been already revitalized. There's a huge revitalization project going on there. There's a lot of
Mhm.
construction going on there because I think last year there were 11 million tourists, so it's becoming so big.
Ooh,
Cost
wow.
of properties are starting to rise, and definitely along with that comes gentrification. So you
Of
have some
course.
people who've been homeowners the homes have been in their family for years and they're refusing to sell. So you might see a home that's been totally renovated and two or three homes, and then one that's like still in its primitive state because the owners just refuse to sell,
Right.
so that still
Right.
happens. And in some areas, there are some power lines that are down. So there's still a
Mhm.
lot of work to be done, despite the fact that they've done a lot to improve the portability of that country.
Mhm.
Big time.
Nice. Well, I was in South Africa over a year ago, and we do they had what they call load shedding, where you had to download an app and it tells you when the light's gonna go off for like hours at a time. So
Okay.
every day you have to check your phone to say, oh, we're gonna have load shedding from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that means you have to hurry and do your cooking, before that time. And like right on schedule, poof, the lights would go out.
Well, I've lived in Tanzania, so that's not an
That's
issue
the
for
same
me.
thing,
That's
right?
not an issue for me at all.
All right. Can you flush the toilet in Panama? Yes. I don't think they tell you you can't, but I think out of habit, if I don't have to, I don't. But I can tell you in Peru, you get to the airport in Lima and the big signs like do not flush the toilet
Oh,
paper down.
really? What's that
It's
about?
because the plumbing system is very fragile. They
Mhm.
don't want it to clog.
Okay.
So, but we don't have that problem in Panama.
No, not in the Dominican Republic either. You
Okay.
can flush all you want.
Virginia, we see you. Maggie, I thank you. I love you too, my sister, Essie Brandon. Hair salon, we answered that. Blackout, no. What about driving? Do you think it's a good idea to transport your car?
I'm transporting my car big
Yes,
time.
yes, she is. I did not because I'm in the city. And I mean, Uber and the subway, buses, in front of my house. So I don't. But if you're going to live in a community that is not in the city, that is kind of a little bit remote, you need your car.
Exactly. Same thing. Same thing.
Now, Jackie Lang, who is the guru of, people moving to Panama, she'll tell you, yes, you can, but there's something about the petrol and the diesel. Sometimes they don't work well with your American car.
Okay.
So you'd want to find out before you bring your car over. And then to transport the car, they have the whatever the tax or whatever that you pay for them
Yeah.
to bring it. So you'll need to research that very carefully.
If you get your
But they
residency
recommend
before
if
you
you
ship, though, you get a half off on your tax.
right.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people just buy cars here because Panama has a lot of international expats that work for international companies. So they have a whole family come for like 3 years. And then when they're leaving, they want to sell all their stuff, like furniture. That's where you get good deals, or they'll say the car. And we have a couple of excellent guides who are kind of also our real estate and car salespeople. So if you need one of them, you just tell them. If you need a car and you say, oh, I have one over here, I have one over there, because they know people who are trying to get rid of stuff as they moving on to the next assignment.
Mhm.
So there is no such concern in the DR with the car.
No, you can bring your car. You are going to pay a tax. And if you have your residency, though, there are tax cuts that you get and duty-free things happen for you. So it's best if that's what your plan is. And it is what my plan is, because I
Yeah.
want every benefit that I can get. I'm going to bring my car.
Now
Not to
listen
say
to
I
this
would
person.
drive
He
there.
said, don't bring your car to Panama. It's a huge pain, and they will get you in custom for sure with a major import tax.
Yeah, they want their money. They want their
That's
money.
true. So
Definitely.
it's easier to just buy a car here.
Yeah.
I mean, in Panama.
In the Dominican Republic, you're going to pay a pretty penny for a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So it's a six of one, half dozen of the other. You either pay
Well,
the
you know
tax.
what? I
bring
was
your
so
own.
happy. Once in a while, I'm like, oh, I wish I could have a car. But the driving in my city of Panama is insane. Okay. Woo! Listen, the accidents I see happen, I don't understand.
Yeah.
People communicate with the honk.
Yes,
And
I like it.
woo, I'm like, oh, mm-mm.
I've driven in New York. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I've
drive in
been in New
LA,
York
so
too, and it's like, but it's a
nothing,
different type. Let me
nothing
tell you, it's
phases me.
different. It's
Nothing
different,
phases me. In the
and a
Dominican
lot of
Republic and
a lot of
Pennsylvania,
accidents, a lot
it
of
is it
accidents.
is very congested, and you really have to be
Yeah,
assertive, I guess, with your driving. But when you live in like in the North Shore or in Punta Cana, where the roads are like a lot wider
Mm-hmm.
and people obey the road signs a lot more, then it's the
Mm-hmm.
same as anywhere else.
Yeah.
But in the city center down into it, yeah, there is some congestion in the traffic, and
Mhm.
it's
No, 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 no. Panama City is known for crazy
exactly,
driving,
yeah.
period.
I get right in the middle of it though. It doesn't even bother me.
Period. And they just finished a major stretch of the highway that's going to help. But oh my God. And then we have protests when they protest and block the road. Oof,
Oh my
it's a
God.
nightmare.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. Okay, my goodness, 2:29, 2.5 hours. I think we need to stop.
Okay.
We can have this party
Hey, this
going
was
for
so much
another two
fun. I loved
hours.
every minute of it. I'm sorry that I was late. Got the time what time is it right now?
It's 2:29 p.m.
It's 11:29 here, so we have a 2-hour difference. I'll keep that in mind.
11
It's 11.
in the morning.
Well, that's what wait, let me see. That's what my screen says. Maybe it's not
That's
right.
3 hours.
Yeah, it says 11:36 a.m. On my computer here. It says 11:30.
36.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
right. This is the West Coast.
Oh, you in LA.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, okay,
In the
okay. You know
Dominican
what? I
Republic,
don't know
it's
why I kept
probably like
thinking you were in the DR already.
no, I'm on vacation. I didn't go this time because my consultant gave me everything that I needed. Normally, whenever
Uh-huh.
I get a break, I go there and I travel
Yeah,
there quite often.
yeah,
I didn't go this time. So, yeah, but no, it's a
yeah.
4-hour difference.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hello, Crystal. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up. I hope you didn't just come on. We had a little bit of a bumpy beginning, but we know next time we're just gonna stay on this stream and not trying to do YouTube and all that because it's gonna make it a mess. So we're just going to do that. But remember that we're going to be interviewing women from different parts of the world
Oh
just
my
to give
God.
you a world
Yeah.
view of what life is, like
Yeah.
Kenya, Indonesia, Colombia.
Experiences.
I'm
Exactly.
looking at Peru. I've been to Peru. Um, France. I don't know if we're gonna get Janice again. I don't know what happened here. Maybe with the time difference. So if you are somebody who is living like this lady who said she just relocated to Colombia, we
Yeah.
would love to hear about your process. And I know
Exactly.
Marcia
Yes.
had talked about Ecuador.
Yeah.
There was someone I was gonna get for. She's on a plane as we speak for her relocation trip to Mexico. I think she's going to Merida. And then she was like, oh no, on the same day. So every fourth Wednesday at noon,
Yes.
we will have these exchanges so that you can, if you say, well, I'm interested in Spain, I'm
Yeah.
interested in Taiwan, or whatever. If you the person who lives there, if you contact us, myself or Marcia, we did drop our email in the chat. Just let us know you're interested, and we will gladly talk to you so we can give the information to as many ladies as possible.
We can schedule some physical meetups once we all get together and start talking of giving the
That would be
benefits
fun.
and
The
pros and
first one should
cons.
be the DR.
Yes. I mean, I'm talking about Spain and Ghana and everywhere else that people are going to.
Yes, why
In
not?
Colombia, what city? There's someone here from Colombia. What city are you in?
She said she just relocated Virginia. Panama City in October. Bienvenida.
Okay.
Um, okay, I
Okay.
think she was a little bit
What's her
further up.
name? She's
Furniture.
that's in Colombia because I think Stephanie Perry is in Colombia, or she's planning to like
She is in
move there.
Colombia. She
Mhm.
is in
Bogota. Bogota, I think.
Bogota.
Hmm.
See, there she is. Navigating with Nana. I am a recent solo retiree right next door in Colombia. She didn't say what city.
Okay.
So
Yes. I would love to hear what her
I
experience is.
would love to hear
Yeah.
the process of
Hmm.
going to Colombia. So Give us a call
Oh, Maggie, this was so much
or
fun. Thank you so
send us
much.
an email. It was fun. Thank you so much for suggesting it. And
Mhm.
hopefully our community will keep growing and we could do
Yes.
this little reach out, kumbaya, touch each other.
I know, I know. Hey, this is what we need. This is what we need.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
there's so much going on. Let me tell you. These are interesting times. What can I
It is.
say? All
Big
right,
time.
guys. Thank you so much for joining in.
Bye, everyone.
And
Have a
we
great
will
day.
see you. Mark your calendars. The fourth Wednesday in March is going to
Yes.
be our next live.
Great.
Global Expat Roundtable. All right. Bye, Marcia.
Bye
Have
bye.
a
Bye
great
bye. Bye,
day.
Maggie.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Bye, ladies.
Okay. And the